Live. We're
This is being
live.
over? Okay.
I don't know how many people are on. I have never used this before, so we'll have to see what's up.
You know what? It just started on the TV. It says 5 watching, and then it's going up from there.
Hey guys, leave me a comment here if you're watching. Concurrent viewers 6. All right, I'm gonna wait because we had a little over a dozen watching the regular video. So now I'm gonna wait till we get more people on here. Say hi when you're here. It's live, watching, woo! Hey, Up in Arms Puppets, Elias, what's up? 8 concurrent viewers, hooray! All right, Good Mana, what's up? Good Mana is with Mike Trung, I hope. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you guys for joining us. It's 7:07. I'm gonna wait like 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna show some interesting weirdo stuff. But this is gonna be like a case study of of this video, the way we made this video, and so you can kind of see my process, and you'll see some of Sean Lee's process. Sean Lee's the drone operator, and then you'll see how my instructions translated to the work that Tim Shingler did on the coloring, which I absolutely love, and I can't wait to show you guys. So 7:08, I'm gonna just wait like 1 minute, 2 minutes. Did you guys notice the crow hanging out on the video? Bird cameo from Donna Pung. Yes.
10 minutes at Berkeley. Call it Berkeley time, by the way.
10 more.
It's an official thing at Berkeley where every class starts 10 minutes late.
Oh, okay. Well, there's 2 more minutes left to wait, and then I'll start showing some stuff. But basically, I made a little folder here of things. And I made a little bit of a case study so that historians 100 years from now can look back and see, oh yeah, that's how they did that no budget ass video. Okay, like 30 seconds. I'm so glad you guys liked the crow. Leave us in the chat what you thought about the video, and then if you guys have questions for anybody, please also type that in the chat. We're reading those right now, and we'll answer all those questions. So I'm gonna start now. Here is, whoops. So there wasn't very much pre-production to be done on this video. It's like a no-budget video because my only idea for this video was that it would be a one-shot video, and it was super inspired by just this one shot from Ghost in the Shell. I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor here, but there's a shot from Ghost in the Shell where Major wakes up, and basically the city is the reflection of her, right? She's a cyborg. She doesn't really have humanity, but the humanity is like the city, and all of that is reflected in her in this scene where she wakes up. And that's kind of like this what is life kind of feeling that Perpetual Heartbreak, the album, asks all the time. There's a similar shot from Lost in Translation, which is down here, but that's kind of after the fact. My main inspiration was this shot from Ghost in the Shell. I typed this up after the fact as well, this outline. I basically had this in my head, and when Sean came over to film this, I kind of just played the song and described to him what should happen when. and he did a really good job to kind of choreograph the drone movements to play with the song, to basically dance with the song, right? So this was my outline that I gave to Sean. And the way that I usually frame my shots to show to other people how to frame the camera when I'm not operating the camera is I just frame it with my iPhone, take a screenshot. So I showed this to Sean and said, hey, can you frame the main shot like this? And something that's really interesting about this video is that Sean actually added this shot from the kitchen. Initially, that wasn't a part of my plans, but Sean was like, hey, what if we start in the kitchen and move right before that main shot that I just showed on my iPhone camera. So Sean added that, and it worked out really well because it kind of introduces a really intimate moment, and then it goes out into this bigger shot. And so I'm going to play a little video of Sean kind of calibrating his drone while I ask Sean, like, the main big question that I have is, no, actually, I'm leaving the audio on so you guys can hear me laughing. Here's Sean calibrating his drone, looking ridiculous.
That's fantastic.
So Sean, what was it like to kind of internalize the outline of the shot list, because it's just one shot, and like you kind of have to learn the song and like learn how to move the drones too, because it was very specific movements.
Yeah, I mean, part of it, well, I do have to preface that it's not the first time flying in your place. When I first bought the drone 3 years ago, I brought it to your birthday party, and that was the first time I flew the drone. And we flew it on your rooftop, right, for your birthday party. I took the opportunity to practice outdoors there, and I kind of already knew what, from your building, the vantage point of the city would look like, and so I knew turning around what it looked like. But then it basically, with our multiple takes, it came down to figuring out at what point of the music we'd be showing what. And I think, I hate to say this as intuition, but part of it is from my experience as a DJ.
Ooh.
I count the music, and so I'm counting just like how you produce the music in 8-bar sets, right, or 16 bars. And I'm thinking, all right, I know that the next paragraph, the next sentence is going to start here. So how do we time that to make sure that that's when we start transitioning? And so I'm basically DJing with the drone of sorts.
Yeah, that's awesome. Check out this shot, man. So we did about 8 takes to get all of that. The last 2 takes we didn't use. They're kind of experimental, but the one shot that we did use, it was the shot where the drone passed so close to me, to my body, that we were like, holy crap, you missed me by 8 inches.
You can like see you adjusting too, like you kind of move and then pull the coffee back a little bit.
So here's the drone coming through. This is just from my iPhone filming Sean flying the drone. But the shot we did use was like the most freaky deaky one because the drone was so close to me. And I was like, oh, I better put my leg down. Trying to play it cool. Watch my face, like playing it cool. And then you'll see me react when the drone passes me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That's hilarious.
I think the toughest part I remember right now was timing this distance to the window.
Yeah. There were a few moments where the drone was up here, maybe like 6 inches from hitting the window opening. And I was like, man, we're cutting it close right there.
And then once I lost sight of the drone, then it was just completely, again, like DJing to the music, just feeling the mood about when do I need to rotate, when do I need to, rise and ascend.
Yeah, and that's all about listening to the song, right?
Yeah.
So
At
this
point,
was behind the scenes. After the drone passes me, I can do whatever now, and here's me kind of like watching the shot with Sean on the drone controller, which has a little preview of what the drone sees. And then at the end, we have to fly it back in the window.
It's so funny for a couple, like 10, 15 seconds there, I thought we were frozen. Because we were so still.
So here's the drone having to come back in the window. And the drone kicks up so much air and wind that when you see the plants moving, that's actually from the drone and not from wind coming through the window. He's home! Woo! E.T. drone home! Well done, Sean. Thank you so much for that. So that was super awesome. The drone did have to crash land. So let me show you guys. This is a shot. We flew the drone up and it ran out of battery. And for some reason, it drifted a block away. So this footage is Sean looking for a place to park it where it won't get run over by a car and where it's downtown, so where we won't get the drone stolen. So we ended up on this rooftop, but Sean actually didn't know where this was, so we ended up having to leave my apartment and using the GPS coordinates to go find it. And
Let me give some context around that. It was because we had so many takes that I only have 3 batteries, and so we were constantly like charging one battery, flying one, charging. It was just a cycle. We went through 6 batteries out of my 3, so we cycled everything twice.
This is Sean looking around to find a place to park. Sorry, Sean.
And I think it was just like, I was like, all right, I think we have enough battery to do one more take, and then it was like, nope, low battery.
So here it's crash landing next in this one parking spot.
Oh wait, this is the middle of a road. There's a car coming, and where do I park this thing? I was thinking of parking on the roof on top of the stairs, but I was like, how do we go get it afterwards?
These people in the parking lot are probably like, what the hell?
And I was just like, all right, I saw the end and I was like, all right, that's got to be safe, right? Because I don't think anybody's going to park there right now.
So this is Sean and I walking to
What are
get
we doing right
the
now?
drone.
Looking for my drone.
I should have parked. He parked his drone somewhere on the roof. So this is Sean looking for his drone.
How did you get this far out? Oh, look!
Oh, I forgot you could film.
Oh man, that is so funny.
All right.
What happened?
The drone drifted while we're shooting our music video.
Oh man, good times. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Sean. The footage turned out beautifully, and I'm glad we got to practice on a few different rounds. But basically, we ended up with the footage, which looked like this, very uncolored and just like muted, because we shot in log color, which is just like the flattest, most basic setting. So this is how it looked before we passed it over to Tim, who did the color. So Tim Schingler is the bassist for the Bow Band, but he's also a professional colorist by day. And I asked Tim to take our footage and give it some character that kind of matches the album, because the album has this like lo-fi, old VHS or old film kind of vibe. And this is kind of progression of the coloring. There was an initial reference image that I gave to Tim, and it's right here. And I said, can you do like mostly cool colors, but when there's highlights, make those really warm and really like poppin'. And what happened was my instructions were not very good because what Tim ended up doing was like really high contrast and very
It was much more
saturated.
pop. Yeah, saturated and poppy.
Yeah, so the colors were very saturated. You can see here like the greens on the plants are really popping. And it's because I gave him this where like the colors seem pretty, high high saturation. So I had to go back and look for some other. The second round was like, hey, so I found these like film like color filters that they're more desaturated, they're higher contrast because of film is like that. And so I gave Tim these two reference images, and so what Tim came out with is this. You'll notice the darks are like much darker than on the actual execution. And that was because in the final, I added a layer of film grain, because if you see here, the drone footage it's like an older drone, so the footage has a lot of like artifacts from the compression of the video. So you'll see like these little chunky artifacts here. And when you add the film grain, it kind of blends those out a little bit. And so that was my intention with the film grain. But by doing that, it also lifted the blacks up. So you'll notice here the street is like almost black here. Whereas on the film grain version, you can actually see all the cars and everything. So the film grain actually lifted the darks up, and you can see more in the dark areas here. And so that is kind of the evolution of the colors. Tim, what do you think it was the most challenging about? I know that you told me previously that a single shot video is really, really hard to color grade because there's changes in the setting. When we start indoors in a very dark area indoors, we go to a brighter area, then we go outside where it's super bright, right?
Right. So the reason for that is every time you move into a new lighting space, the camera is constantly adjusting its iris. As iPhones, we've become accustomed to it, but iPhones are doing the same thing. They're constantly shifting. And so my job was really to take a pass and even that stuff out so that it's not so distracting from what you should be focusing on, which is you and the vibe. And so once I did that smoothing pass, I was really able to then start addressing the notes that you had given me and the look that you wanted. But definitely there was like, think of it as like spackling a wall before you paint it. You know what I mean? Like we had to do that spackle pass,
Yeah. How many hours do you think you spent on this 4-minute video?
I probably spent two solid hours, not including like prep and render, just like the middle of the pipeline. Yeah. And it's funny. I really have a high reverence for Birdman and Children of Men, which Children of Men started sort of that one shot kind of we're going to do the longest take that anyone's ever seen kind of thing. And then Birdman, of course, did it for the entire film. And obviously they're not one take completely, and they hide the cuts, but it feels like one whole thing. And I had gone and like listened to those colorists and what they did. And I also have sort of my own evolution of how I thought, man, if I was doing that, how would I approach it? So when you came to me and said I have this one take thing, I was like, oh, okay, let me try this out.
I'm glad you did. Check this out. Tim, you don't even know this, but I have a style guide with my color scheme. Whoops. With my color scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
So check out the teal, the yellow, and the cream in comparison to what you did with the film colors.
I can't see it yet because the thing I'm watching is a few seconds behind.
Oh, got it. So basically, you almost nailed the sky, matching my branded teal.
Oh, I can see it now. Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and the highlights where like the white parts of the sky are, you almost nailed that cream color from my style guide, which, you know,
Sweet.
after the fact, I was like, damn, Tim really nailed it, man. Tim
Oh, yeah.
really nailed it.
You know, it was funny that what really clued me into on the grade that you wanted was when you sent me the secondary pass of notes and reference images. When I saw Portra on there, I love shooting film, as you know, like old school still film, and so I've tried out a lot of different films, and Portra happens to be one of my favorites, and so I'm really familiar with that vibe, that palette that Portra spits out, because it's not the same as like Kodak Gold or Fuji or Superia or, you know, all the different film types. And so when I saw that, I was like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, that was just so like, it was so perfect. I'm reading the comments to see if there are any questions for us, and let's see. Yeah, the crow. So if you guys listen with headphones, there's a pass of sound design that I did that was not in the actual like video recording, because the drone recording has the loud fan, so there's actually no audio. So I added a pass of sound design that includes kind of the city ambiance. I'm not even using a spoon for my coffee because I drink my coffee black, but we added we added the stirring of the coffee and the dropping of the spoon just so it establishes the shot that I'm in the kitchen making my coffee, right? And if you listen to the beginning with headphones, you'll hear on the right-hand side of your headphones a very low crow sound effect. The crow has kind of become my mascot ever since Ming and Ping days. And then if you watch at the end, magically this bird flies by. The bird is real, by the way. It was just incredibly serendipitous. The bird flies by, and I kind of added more crow sound there just to, I don't even know if that's a crow, but just to establish that, like, you know, this is the this is like my mascot, and it's kind of closing the concept of this video of like, this is a portrait of me and how I feel, and you know, my full expression of my person. So I'm gonna let this video run. There was a question for Sean about what was the hardest part about working with the drone for this video.
It was learning how to override all of the drone's smart features,
Safety features.
safety features, to be able to fly indoors, because it has all these cameras, and this is the Mavic Pro first version, not the latest ones, that detects, you know, front and back and down collision, all these collision sensors. And so I had to watch like an hour of YouTube video just to figure out how to turn everything off. And then the other thing was that there's also this detection thing beneath it, where it's trying to, you know, how the drone works. It's usually it's leveraging GPS to position itself, to center itself, so it just stays in place, right? That's how smart it is you just lift off and just stays in place and just hovers. But then when you turn all those things off, then you're just hoping it stays in place. Because I remember the first time we flew at Bow's place, it also drifted like crazy. And because it's the wind is, you know, indoors is unpredictable, especially with, you know, different flooring and then different heights of furniture. How it's designed with the sensors on the bottom is trying to maintain a certain amount of height. So if I fly over like a like in the video, there's like a cabinet path that we pass through, right? That cabinet's obviously, you know, 3 feet off the ground. Well, if I didn't turn off some of the sensors, if I didn't fly around it somehow, it would, once it gets there, it would automatically adjust and push itself up another 3 feet. And the concern there is if your ceiling is low and you're not aware of this, you know, it's going to crash into the ceiling. And so luckily the ceiling was high. And then we just moved everything out of the path of the drone so that there was nothing that could bump that up. That was the first challenge. The second challenge was, it actually happened the first take, I remember, where the front sensors, if it senses something where it might crash into, it just stops and it just beeps like crazy. And the drone actually, while we're recording, is beeping like crazy because it's just like, we shouldn't be flying here. We shouldn't be flying here. And so as we're going out the window, if I didn't aim the drone correctly, then there was like an impasse in one of the takes. We're just like, nope, you're not going forward. So that was the hardest thing. But once we got outside, it's a new world of challenges where you're just watching for helicopters, especially how high we're flying.
We're right by the
but
central police station, so there are helicopters.
yeah, but that's I would say that was probably the biggest challenge, was figuring out how to fly the drone safely indoors. Luckily, I did, because of the first crash in Bao's house, very low height, dented one of his chairs 3 years ago. I did buy bumpers, and just so it doesn't kill Bao, right, or take out an eye, one of his precious eyes. And as it flew out, and I remember in one of the takes, as we turned, the camera did catch like the edge of the bumper a little bit, and so we had to.
It's actually in this take. I did some post-production to blur it out and clone another piece of the city in. So if you guys want to find out where that cloned area is and give me the timestamp, I'll send you a free Bao t-shirt. But only for the first person to find it, okay? I'm not sending out like 100 t-shirts. Tim and Sean, I really, really appreciate your work on this, making my vision come to life beautifully at that. And I really appreciate you guys spending time on this live stream to kind of explain your process and talk about some of the challenges that came up while working on this too. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I hope you liked watching some of this behind the scenes stuff. And that's all we got for you tonight. Sean has another meeting. I'm gonna go, chat in this thing and see how everything went. So thank you everyone for coming in. I'm wowed at how clear the sky was on the shoot day. No special questions. I imagine it would have changed the mood if it were foggy or smoggy, overcast. Or did you do all that in post? Yeah, it was an extra clear day. It was just really great. No no like strong winds or anything.
The lighting and the shadows, the angle of the sun casting that shadow with Bao's shadow on the ground was just amazing.
Yeah, and right before the drone exits the window, there's like a lens flare that's just really beautiful to me.
The jumbo jet. You forgot the jumbo jet.
You guys, all right, 30 more seconds of this. Every like 20 seconds, there is a still image that's just like a perfectly framed still image. Like, this is beautiful to me. Such a well-framed image. This, of course, is the main image that I had like already planned out, so we won't talk too much about that. This right here is kind of, reminiscent of that Ghost in the Shell shot. This, of course, right when you exit the window, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's a jumbo jet right here. Right smack dab in the middle of the screen. And this shot with this looking down the street is probably my favorite. And obviously, there's a skyline, there's two skyline shots to me. One where it's 2/3 city and 1/3 sky. That's the shot. And then the other one where we pause again, and it's 1/3 skyline, 2/3 sky. All of these stills, to me, make the video so beautiful, so perfect. And that is my goal for doing a one-shot video. At every milestone, there's going to be like one vista, one still that just is perfect. And I think we pulled that off really, really well. And then I actually grafted on some additional sky here so that we can take the skyline off the screen before the bird flies by. So the sky up here is fake. I re-recorded more sky with my iPhone and added that in, and then spent hours and hours trying to make it match. And thanks to Tim for coloring it so that the grafting doesn't look insanely obvious. So, all right. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for the great questions, guys. And thanks for supporting my music. If you like the music video, I would really, really appreciate if you just share it wherever you share stuff with your friends. And yeah, look out for, we've got a lyric video coming up in a week or two, and a soundtrack album this month. So there's a lot more coming. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you guys. Sorry you're late for your meeting. 6